Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara, and you have landed on Astrocast. This is your weekly forecast from April 15th through the 21st. Okay, so a couple of things about this week. First of all, I'm not sure if I have a firm one-word theme. And that's because there's a lot going on. I did come up with like 3 or 4 words, though, that are really important, okay? One is fearlessness, like have a sense of fearlessness to move forward, to move forth with courage. The second one is faith, like have complete faith in what you're doing. And sometimes that is hard because you're maybe doing something new, or you're trying a new path, or everything that you're thinking about is, battling old thought patterns that you've had. And so you're having to come up against these old thoughts and belief systems. Okay, so fearlessness, faith, and fiery energy. This week is super fiery, like so much that you have got to watch your patients. You've got to be able to make sure you understand the difference between aggression and assertiveness. And you really want to understand, at least have a clear sense of where you're going and what you believe in. It's so important. We have a few really powerful events. First one is Mercury goes direct. Now, when Mercury starts to go direct, when it stations direct, it stands still, and then it starts moving forward again. But it really won't be out of its shadow, I think, until like the 31st, somewhere around there, maybe the 24th, something like that. So point is on the 15th, yes, Mercury stations direct, starts moving forward again, but we're not completely out of the proverbial woods yet. So just be mindful in the way you communicate, and just be aware of what's coming through for you on your day-to-day. Okay. Then we have Jupiter entering Taurus. Now I'm going to pull this up on my screen in a second, but it's also creating a T-square with Mars and Pluto. So it's creating this T-square, looks like the letter T, which means there's 1, 2, 3 transits that are creating squares. Squares are not comfortable, a little disharmonious, and then also an opposition between 2 planets, which is Pluto and Mars. Okay, I didn't say Bruno Mars, I said Pluto and Mars. And I'm going to go over that in a second. And then we also have the new moon. So we have a brand new moon. We have a ton of planets in Taurus, which is great because that's all about home and hearth and health and safety and security and all of that. Okay, so let me just show you this. And normally I don't do this on the weekly forecast, but I was like, are you kidding me? So I want you to see this. Okay. So here's all the planets in Taurus, right? I'm actually putting my glasses on. And then in this picture, this is from May 16th. Jupiter's right here on the 0 line, right? So just moving out of Aries into Taurus. It will have cuddled up with the moon and with Chiron. And then if you follow this 0 red line here, there's Pluto. So Pluto, well, let me just finish the triangle. And then opposite that is Mars, 27 degrees, not an exact opposition, but close enough. It's only 2 degrees. And then if you follow that line from Mars, it goes directly over to Jupiter. So that's your triangle. That's your T-square. Okay, so it's creating 2 squares and 1 opposition between planets. Now, first of all, Pluto is moving in and out of Capricorn. Zing, 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 zing. It went into Aquarius and we were like, oh, and now it's moving, because it's in retrograde, moving into Capricorn. Now, the things that we want to be aware of is, Pluto's super slow, moving into the sign of Capricorn, right? And at that time, Pluto is going to, at the time of the move, Pluto's going to exactly square Jupiter. This is about your connection to wealth, your connection to abundance. Everything is coming up regarding your beliefs around money, about your beliefs around what you value, what you are valued at. Anything that has to do with money, abundance, and the creation of it is all up for complete revisitation, transformation of the story. What you believe to be true about your beliefs is about to fall away. Like when that happens, it's almost like this severed tie of your beliefs. That is if you want to let them go. You don't have to, right? Again, whenever I read people's charts, I try to tell them, this is a blueprint. This is a blueprint of what's happening on that day. But you have free will on how you want to use that energy. Pluto also governs what needs to be uncovered. So Pluto's all about, lies and stories that need to be shifted, and, just whatever is in the depths that hasn't been told yet. Those things will start to come up for revisitation, whatever that is in your life, and also collectively. Jupiter is all about wealth, abundance, money, wisdom, knowledge, expansion, like just, right? And so my invitation is to have a deep sense of self-awareness around those beliefs that you hold around those topics, and ask yourself, are these mine? Because you're going to be tested on that. You're going to be tested like, are these my parents' beliefs around money? Are these my boss's belief about what I'm valued at? Are these my beliefs that maybe I've adapted and they're not true anymore, right? And so that sense of faith is really important, so that you can, well, first of all, self-awareness is super important. And then that sense of faith to move beyond what you thought to be true. And really trying to weed out the things that just don't resonate with you anymore. And I feel like this is a consistently ongoing topic in our life. We're in a consistent state of evolution, but this one in particular, I'm going to show my screen one more time, is all about those topics. And it's right here in Taurus. So that's all about, home, hearth, health, what you perceive to be beautiful, and how you spend your time, energy, and effort, right? So you've got, on that day, you've got the sun, Uranus, Mercury, North Node, and Jupiter all in the sign of Taurus. It's kind of a big deal. And then let's just talk a little bit about Mars over here, who is like just a little instigator, right? Mars is super fiery. Mars is quick. Mars is direct and to the point. Mars is very much about getting shit done. Like, let's go, let's do this. What the heck are you waiting for? And it will be opposite Pluto on that same day, right? So they're pretty much almost all at 0 degrees. Pluto opposite Mars happens about every 2 years. This is forming a T-square between Mars and Pluto. And Mars and Pluto, this opposition between Mars and Pluto is challenging. Jupiter will create a sense of positive energy, will what's the word I'm looking for? Will imbue, I guess, a sense of empowerment and faith in this transit. And here's why. If it were just Mars and Pluto, it can really create a deep friction, right, around transformation. And so when Jupiter is in that, involved in this T-square, creating this sense of expansion and wisdom and knowledge, Jupiter will help you to use this time productively and use this energy productively. Maybe there's some new project you want to get up off the ground. Maybe you need a little boost of confidence in something. Maybe you want to become the leader of your life, right? It will create a sense of inspired action, but you got to drop into self-awareness and know where your triggers are, know where your misgivings are, know what bothers you, because You probably will be triggered this week on something that has to do with money, abundance, financial flow, anything that has to do with you creating a sense of security for yourself. And it'll bring it to the top, which is good. I mean, this is what we want. We want things that don't work for us, that take us out of joy and harmony and our attunement. We want to be able to know or notice when these things come up so that we can clear them, right? Pluto's going to uncover it. Pluto's going to say, let's look at this. And Jupiter's going to give you the faith and the expansion of the vision to be able to see the whole picture. So you're not, hopefully, you don't get stuck in this minutia. You can see the bigger picture. And then Mars will give you that courage to move through it. And all right before this happens is when Mercury stations direct. So Mercury is going to go direct, and whew, it's going to be this like sense of clarity about something. And then you're going to need to really work on a sense of patience with yourself, a sense of patience with others, a sense of like, I really want to be neutral in this moment. I want to have a sense of equanimity so that I can evaluate what's really happening and ask myself, is this mine? Or is this an old idea that I've had around these topics, right? Just be neutral and try to, number one, be patient. And number two, if you do feel that fiery energy, just, use your tools to move through it. Use your tools to move through it. Channel it effectively through exercise, through, mantra, through movement, whatever it is, just channel that energy before reacting. That's why it would be so easy to call out clarity as a theme, right? But it's not that easy. There's a sense of clarity. There's like a zzz, right? And then it creates potential little bit of havoc for us. Like, oh my gosh, well, now what? Now what? Now what? And it's about money, financial abundance, wealth, prosperity, just what we believe to be true as far as our ideas around lack and what we can create. And then bam, new moon. Then we have a new moon in Taurus. So what you don't want to do, and this is all those 3 days before, and the power of the new moon is, yes, it's on the new moon, right? Which is the 19th, but mostly it happens like 2-3 days before, 2-3 days after. So we're experiencing all of this like energy, right before the new moon. So think about or feel into what it is that you want to bring into this new lunar cycle, and do your darndest not to bring those old patterns with you. Like if you were headed through a portal and you were like, okay, I'm going to this new portal, I'm going to this new vision and version of myself, and then right before you cross the threshold, you get tested. Ooh, pass that test. So whatever it is, it stays in the old version, right? It stays in that where you just don't need it anymore. Gosh, I hope this is making sense. And if you can do that, you almost feel like you're in a fork. I know my teacher used the example of coming up to a fork in the road, on how you wish to experience life. And I can see that, but I also feel like it's like walking through a portal, and you're like, okay, this is what I want to experience. I want to experience it now. The universe might say, right, not now. You might have to wait a little bit, be patient. And when you can really exemplify that sense of patience and trust and faith in the process, this is all shifting beyond your knowledge, beyond what you think with your teeny tiny little mind, right? That's when those wonderful changes will begin to accelerate your success into fulfillment and peace and joy. But you don't want to muck it up by taking your ego with you. I mean, I'm already, as I'm telling the story, visualizing myself like, okay, Dana, just don't talk to anybody this whole week, which doesn't help either, right? So just allow yourself space to be aware and watch and just observe. And then whatever kind of energy you can create around patience and clarity and wisdom. That's the path. Divine timing, that's the path. Faith, even though you don't know the way, that's the path. Anything that's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this now, ditch it. That's lack. I hope this is helpful. It's a big week and I just want you to be prepared, you know. Feel free to reach out to me if you want your chart read, if you want to see how Jupiter is landing and where it is in relation to your chart and what it means in relation to your chart. It's really powerful knowledge to understand and at least take a little morsel with you when you make your decisions. Feel free to reach out to me at dana@danadamara.com, and I'm happy to read your chart. I did lower my prices through the end of the year just because I felt like it was the right thing to do. So through the end of the year, they're at, I think it's 222, I think. It's a good luck number. Feel free to reach out. Happy to do it for you. And if you just kind of want to know a little bit, like you want to graze the surface, go to myastrocast.com. And if you put in your email, you'll get several emails spun out to you that just give you a little taste of astrology and what you can learn. I want to say thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be able to put these together. I'm very grateful. Have such a beautiful day. Namaste.